Jackson. Oh, a fumble into the end zone and covered by McNeil for...
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much. Everyone's been watching my videos out there. I greatly appreciate it. If you give this video maybe a thumbs up, or maybe leave a comment below, or share the video, it would mean so much to me. But thank you so much, anyway, for just taking time out of your day to check this video out. Thank you. It's become more and more apparent, it's not a guaranteed lock, but, that Saquon Barkley might be available for week 1. Things are looking good. Now, Joe Judge was also saying about the wait and see, give it, obviously toward the end of the week before he makes obviously he's going to have to make a decision one way or the other before the game starts on Sunday. But things are starting to look pretty good. Saquon might be available. I'm sure he'll be on a pitch count. Now, one thing he also did say, too, was when he was talking to the reporters yesterday, was he said, when a guy's available, all right, he was kind of hinting around that, the physicians and all that say he's available to play, he's ready to play, and this, that, and that. Kind of sound like he's like, Saquon is not going to be like on a pitch count. So, I don't know. He's like, if the guys are on the sideline, they're ready to play football. It's not, it's kind of like, it's like we don't bring somebody in, give them a uniform, put them on the sideline, and just say you're just going to play 5 plays. So if he's ready. It'd be interesting. I mean, I'd have a hard time believing he'd be in there for, a boatload of plays. I mean, even ones that he's not getting the ball on, but Judge said, we're dressing him. He's ready to play some football. So we'll have to wait and see. It can be very, very interesting. But anyway, you probably won't hear anything definite until, obviously toward the end of the week, maybe Thursday or so. But, it's starting to look pretty good. Now, there's a lot of stuff been going around talking about, though, with Saquon and all, about, what he means, like the Daniel Jones, because, with Saquon was in the lineup in 2019 with Daniel Jones. The Giants averaged 21.3 points per game. Last year, with Saquon out of the equation, for all of, pretty much almost 15 games, and Daniel Jones was just in there, the Giants averaged, 17.5 points a game. Okay. So a lot of people, they were kind of speculating, it's Saquon in there, he means 4 extra points to Daniel Jones, Now, it was, we go back to Saquon's rookie year, right, 2018. What a phenomenal season it was. He had 1,307 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, averaged 5 yards a carry. Had 91 receptions for 721 yards and another 4 touchdowns. Phenomenal. He led the league in yards with 2,028. Okay, he played all 16 games. Okay, but let us not forget. Okay, he had a phenomenal season. All and the Giants averaged 23 points per game. All right, but let's also not forget. He had that phenomenal season. But Pat Shermer was calling the plays. Okay, Eli Manning was the quarterback, and we had Odell Beckham Jr. out there. Now you got the shame of getting rid of Odell Beckham. Okay, I know the guy was a nutcase and all that and everything, but he put he made where the defenses had to guard the secondary. I mean, you couldn't start loading up the box, and give special attention to Odell Beckham. So I mean, they had to kind of pick their poison. So especially with Eli, he saw them doing one thing, he could change the play, But as I said, let us not forget, the phenomenal season he had when he was a rookie, Pat Shurmur was calling plays. All right, we had Eli and then Odell Beckham Jr. Then in the second season, all right, in 2019, he had the high ankle sprain. All right, so he only wanted to play in 13 games. Right, he still had 1,003 yards rushing. He had 6 rushing touchdowns. He had 4.6 yards per carry, but some of that was also, he came back a little too soon. It appeared, from that high ankle sprain. He looked like he was kind of suffering the first couple of games he came back. Maybe he shouldn't have came back, but he still got his 1,000 yards rushing. Now, if he had played a full season, all right, he would have certainly had well over 1,200 yards, maybe close to 13, what he had in his rookie season, all right? And once again, the Giants had, averaged 21.3 points per game, all right? Daniel Jones was the quarterback. However, Pat Shurmur was calling the plays, all right? So that's where, maybe there's a little bit of a discrepancy, because then you had last year where Saquon was out. The Giants only averaged, 17.5 points per game. But Pat Shurmur wasn't there calling the plays. Now, Pat Shurmur, okay, it may not be a good coach, okay? He kind of proved that because he coached the Cleveland Browns in 2011, 2012, and he had basically identical records. All right, 2011, 2012, Cleveland Browns, he was 9-23. Okay, when he coached the 2 years the Giants, okay, 2018, 2019, he was 9-23. Not a good head coach, but good play caller, okay? And we're going to see that again this Sunday when we're playing the Broncos, okay? He's going to be calling the plays, right? So he's a good play caller, all right? But, just to think that, that Saquon is actually worth the 4 points per game, because, 2019 we averaged 21.5, 2020 we only averaged 17.5 because Saquon wasn't in. It's not quite accurate. You know what I mean? The quarterback was the same, but the play caller wasn't, okay? But one thing that is, okay, I'm got a point here. Right? When the Giants scored a lot of points, okay, the Giants have 6 times scored over 400 points in a season. Right? So score 400 points in a season, you're scoring at least 25 points a game. Okay, 6 times that the Giants scored, all right, over 400 points in a season, all right, and they all have a little something in common, okay, and a good running back ain't one of them, or a good wide receiver ain't one of them either, or a good coach ain't one of them either, or a good signal caller ain't one of them, okay? There's one thing in common now, all right? 1963, the Giants scored the most points in their history, points per game. Okay, they scored 448 points in 14 games. Okay, they averaged 32 points a game. All right, very, very good season. Unfortunately, they lost the championship game to the Chicago Bears 14-10. But their play call, the quarterback, okay, was Y.A. Tittle. Okay, he threw 36 touchdown passes. All right, Y.A. Tittle. Their leading rusher was Phil King with 613 yards. Joe Morrison was second with 568 yards. Didn't need a 1,000-yard rusher. Didn't even, some of you guys may not even heard of either one of those guys, all right, those running backs, right? So you don't need, Del Schaffner was the leading wide receiver, okay? But, Ali Sherman was the head coach, not a Hall of Famer, okay? But Y.A. Tittle was the quarterback, all right? Then we go to 2005, okay? The Giants, next time that from 1963, it took to 2005 for the Giants to score over 400 points again. 2005, scored 422 points, okay? In 16 games, we averaged 26.3 points per game. Pretty good, all right? The quarterback, Eli Manning. All right, he had 24 touchdown passes. Tiki Barber had a phenomenal season that year, okay? He had 1,860 yards rushing. Phenomenal season, all right? Tom Coughlin was the coach, okay? Good coach. And, but Tiki Barber, great season, but he's not a Hall of Famer. Okay? 2008, had a great year that year, okay? The Giants scored 427 points, averaged 26.7 points per game, right? Eli Manning, once again, was quarterback. He had 21 touchdown passes. Right? Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward both had over 1,000 yards rushing. All right. But, one of those guys is a Hall of Famer, right? But Eli Manning, quarterback, okay. 2009, the next season, the Giants had 402 points. They averaged 25.1 points per game. Eli Manning was the quarterback. 27 touchdown passes. Same thing. We had 2 leading rushers. Neither one had 1,000 yards. Brandon Jacob had 835 yards rushing. Ahmad Bradshaw had 778 yards rushing. Neither is a Hall of Famer. We didn't even have 1,000 yards rushing. 2012, the next season, we gained over 400 points. We scored 429 points in 16 games. We averaged 26.8 points per game. Once again, Eli Manning, the quarterback. 26 touchdown passes. Ahmad Bradshaw, he just had a little over 1,000 yards, 1,015 yards rushing. Okay, but Ahmad Bradshaw, not a Hall of Famer, right? And he got over 1,000 yards, all right? 2015 was the last time the Giants scored over 400 points. They had 420 points in 16 games. They scored 26.3 points per game. Eli Manning, quarterback, 35 touchdown passes. Rashad Jennings, remember him? He was the leading rusher. He had 863 yards. Not a 1,000-yard rusher, okay? Not a Hall of Fame running back. And even Ben McAdoo was calling the plays there, okay? Remember that guy? Remember that coach, huh? Yeah. So, all right. Then we have 2 honorary mentions, okay? 1962, okay? The Giants scored 398 points, okay? Almost 400 points. Quarterback, Kwity Paye. All right. The leading rusher that year was Alex Webster. He had 743 yards rushing. All right. Alex Webster, not a Hall of Famer, not even 1,000 yards rushing. And honorary mention number 2, 1985. The Giants scored 399 points. Quarterback, Phil Simms. Joe Morris was the running back. He had a very good year. Joe Morris, not a Hall of Famer. He had 1,330 yards rushing. Okay, good year rushing, not a Hall of Famer. Hall of Fame coach, Bill Parcells, right? But Phil Simms was the quarterback. Okay, so all of these 8 teams, okay, between Phil Simms, Kwity Paye, and Eli Manning, you know what they all have in common? They all have their uniform numbers retired by the New York Football Giants, with Eli Manning soon to be. Right? Kwity Paye, number 14, his jersey's retired. Phil Simms, number 11, his jersey's retired. And against Atlanta Falcons this year, Eli Manning's number 10 will be retired. Okay, so you don't need a Hall of Fame coach to score a lot of points. You don't need a Hall of Fame wide receiver to score a lot of points. You don't need a Hall of Fame signal caller to call a lot of points. You don't need a 1,000-yard rusher. You don't need a Hall of Fame running back. Okay, what you do need, you need good quarterback play. Okay, and that's why it's so important for Daniel Jones this year to take hold of the reins. Okay, and command this offense and do what he can do, right, to the best of his ability, right? Because if he's going to lead his team and if we're going to score a lot of points, it's up to him, okay, to lead the way. Yeah, having Saquon there is very important. Sure, absolutely. Having Kenny Golladay and all of that is very, very important. Absolutely. But the quarterback play is very, very important. And Daniel Jones has got to put his big boy pants on and start playing big-time football if we're going to start scoring a lot of points. And if we can start scoring a lot of points with the defense we have, Lord knows how far we can go. So that's that. And then we have a little bit of a tight end deficiency. Going into camp, we had like 8 tight ends, and then all of a sudden they just started dropping like flies. Finally, we got Kyle Rudolph. All right, he's finally looks like he's going to be playing. Okay, week 1, but then you got Caden Smith, and then you got Evan Ingram. Joe Judge was talking Evan Ingram, we'll give him toward the end of the week and then once again evaluate him, but I wouldn't count on him so much. But in Caden Smith, he's got like an undisclosed injury. What's going on with him? Who knows? Okay, so that leaves, we got Jake Houseman, all right, newly signed and acquired Ryan Izzo, all right, and then we got Chris Myrak, all right, from Temple. He was undrafted free agent in 2019 with Miami, so he spent 2019 and 2020 with the Miami Dolphins. But he's from Temple. He's 6'5". I think he's going to turn 26 this year. So he's a big dude. So look for possibly one of those guys, one of those three guys, okay, Myrak, Houseman, or Izzo to be called up from the practice squad, okay, especially if Ingram can't go or if Caden Smith can't go, all right. But looks like one of our prized free agent pickups is going to start playing, Kyle Rudolph. And he's talking to the press conference and all today, or yesterday, and he was... He said, he said he's ready to go. He said if he's out there for 60, 70 plays, he's ready to go. So, all right, good to see. And then hopefully, what we're, Kadarius Toney, okay, right, and Kenny Golladay were actually running pass patterns. So hopefully, those guys will be out there on Sunday too, because we can use all the help we can get. And then possibly what I was hearing is that Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan was talking. Yesterday as well, and it was sounded like he was going to be getting Adoree Jackson back. So we got Bradbury and Adoree Jackson. That would be huge, especially going up against those Denver Bronco wide receivers, because they got some young studs for wide receivers. And Teddy Bridgewater is good at dispersing the ball, keeping the ball out of harm's way. Okay, but he'll do a good job at protecting the ball and throwing it. So we can use all the help we can get in the secondary. And then the Giants, they had 7 team captains, okay, that were announced. Now there's 3 on offense, 3 on defense, and 1 special teams. Graham Gano is the special teams captain, okay, this is his first year. We got Saquon Barkley, this is his 3rd year. He's a team captain, okay. We got Daniel Jones, this will be his 2nd year as a team captain. And then we got Nick Gates. Very, very well deserved, I think, for Nick Gates to have. It's picked by the players. Okay, it's not picked by it's not on ESPN and you pick this, or it's not picked by the fans. It's picked by the team players. So these guys are well deserved. Okay, so then we go on to the defensive side. Okay, and we got Blake Martinez. This is his 2nd year being a captain. We got Jabrill Peppers. This is his 2nd year once again being a captain. And then we got Logan Ryan. He was talking yesterday, and this will be his first year as being a captain, and he said he doesn't take this lightly. All right, so I mean, just goes to show you how good our safeties are. And we also got Xavier McKinney and Julian Love too. But I mean, 2 of our captains are safeties. Okay, so that just goes to show you how good they are. And I'll certainly be keeping up on seeing anybody that's going to start getting healthy again, or any other scratches or anything like that. But I mean, as of right now, looks like we're going to have almost a full load. I mean, the team getting healthy for the first game of the season, except for possibly Evan Ingram and maybe Caden Smith. I'll have to keep an eye on that, but they're not ruled out yet. So got our fingers crossed. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!